I'm going to start off the video with something more interesting this time, an Armored Core Verdict Day battle. And the mechs are dropped from jets this time instead of helicopters. Teams also have a rank now, as you see that team is F-, and teams had a rank in Armored Core 5 as well, but it was 1, 2, or 3 stars. And I'm pretty sure you needed 3 stars to actually risk 10Ks. And team rank might also have something similar to that. Also, while team rank is displayed there, team level isn't, so team level may have been taken out. The mech in this video has a shield equipped on the left hand, and shields have durability, as you can see. I mean, at first I thought shields were just going to be constant, they couldn't be destroyed, but shields can actually be destroyed, as shown in this video, and they get destroyed pretty fast from what this seems like. I felt like it should have had more durability for how fast it got destroyed. I mean, it gets destroyed damn near instantly. Now if you watch the bottom right, you'll see his shield just loses about 4,000 durability in a matter of 1 second. And just like that, his shield is destroyed and his weapon is switched, so that was pretty fast. This is still the early stages of the game, so the amount of durability a shield has can be changed. And right there you can see the new death animations that are now present. Because before in Armored Core 5, every time it was the same death animation, it was just your mech exploding, but now I guess they tumble down, which looks a lot cleaner. And you also get to see the beauties of spectating, something that was not present in Armored Core 5 that really should have been there in the first place, but it's now there, so. This scene right here shows that the shield will only be destroyed while you're facing what's being fired at you. I'm assuming that the defense boost that you gain also works the same way, and only works while the shield is active and while you're facing the bullets. Now we're going to move on to the main focus of Armored Core Verdict Day, the Def 2, and that's unac, Unmanned Armored Core, and it's the new AI system that they implemented. The main advantage of this AI system compared to the old one is supposed to be that you can customize the AI, pretty much outfit it with what weapons and boosters, leg parts, all that stuff that you want, and that you can actually control the way it moves. You can pretty much program it to move a certain way in certain situations. AIs were present in Armored Core 5, and you could bring them with you into story missions and order missions. You could also bring them with you into Conquest missions as well, but that was something I would never advocate to anybody. The reason being that they were pretty much bad AIs and they were never equivalent to a real player. And I'm assuming that these AIs that they're trying to make and display will hopefully come close to a real player, but I doubt they'll ever equal one. This next clip features a guy with an arm weapon and a shield, and base defenses, as you can see, are still here, and some would argue that base defenses made playing defense very easy in Conquest. And I would have to agree, because you could camp behind Ediths and pretty much win. I didn't like base defenses actually being in the game, and that's something I wish they removed, and it was just mechs fighting each other, but they're still there, so nothing you can really do about that. As you can see from the arm weapon that he switches to right here, there's no ready position at all, which is great. And people have told me before that arm weapons, you do not have to engage ready position, and along with that, you cannot use shoulder units, and you can't have bay weapons. Arm weapons actually do have to take the bay weapon slot, which I'm assuming is there to prevent you from using arm weapons with overed weapons. Personally, I'm just glad arm weapons don't have to engage in ready position, because if they had to engage in ready position, they would probably suffer the same fate as ready position weapons, and being unviable. Another thing about shields that I still don't know yet is if you can actually attack with them, and if you do attack with them and it hits, does it actually take the durability away from your shield? In this next clip, we're going to see some of the things that they changed about Operator to make the experience more enjoyable. In Armored Core 5, if you had put somebody to Operator in a free battle, they would rage quit. And if you had put one of your teammates into Operator right before Conquest, they'd get pretty mad and probably stop talking to you. I mean, personally, if I was put to Operator in a free battle, I would just walk away from the controller unless it was one of my teammates that did it and gave me a good reason. It's not really something people actually enjoyed playing, or at least the majority of the people that I know. One of the things that they changed about Operator is now you can command the unac units, and you can actually pretty much play the game like an RTS as operator. I mean, you can only command the unac units, but from what I can see, you can actually use them to target things. Armored Core Verdict Day will feature unac data, sort of similar to AC data, which allows you to save the unac units that you make. On the top right, there's a trade section, so you can trade unac data just like you can trade emblems and AC data. For the amount of time and effort that they're putting into these unac units, these things better be pretty godlike. I mean, like, these things better be damn near the equivalent of a real player, or at least slightly below. The selection screen that's shown here debuted in the trailer, and at first I thought it was a new selection screen for assembly, but it's not. It's actually the unac customization screen. And in here, it seems like you're able to customize your unac unit and change the parts that it's using and the movement patterns of it. From what I can tell in the video, they're changing the way the unac unit moves when it encounters a certain situation, like a certain distance or certain range, and it's going to move based on that. And the red line that you see it moving across is where it's going. I mean, personally, even with all these features, I still don't have too much faith in these unac units, but I'm sure some people will find some use for them somehow. So, it's better to have good AIs than the AIs that we had previously in Armored Core 5, which were unreliable and not that good. In this clip, they show what looks to me like a variety of movement patterns that you can choose from, and there seems to be a lot, so hopefully that diversity helps. With all the attention that the unac system is getting, I would hope that you'll be able to bring them into free battles as well, because in Armored Core 5 you couldn't actually bring AIs into free battles. If the unac units really do turn out to be good, maybe people can use them as training dummies, or just for practice. The main reason I'm showing so much unac footage is because that's the actual focus of Armored Core Verdict Day the Def 2. They showed more footage of that than pretty much anything else, so I thought it was important enough to show. After all the hype, building, and demonstration, this is pretty much the final product, and this is like an AC test sort of, but for the unac unit. The unit actually is staying on its target pretty well, which is a lot better compared to Armored Core 5, where you could actually stand in front of them sometimes and they wouldn't shoot. They'd pretty much be useless. But this thing is going out of its way to chase down the enemy and at least shoot at them and keep them inside the reticule, which is good. I mean, while I did expect a lot more from how much they showed for the unac units, I mean, that's not too bad compared to what it used to be in Armored Core 5. It used to be much worse. The only thing I don't like so far, from what I'm seeing about this part, is its movement. I mean, it actually is staying on the target, and that's what it's supposed to do. That's good. I just want to see it move slightly better and out of the line of fire. Personally, even with all the changes, I'll still never bring these things on any high-risk mission that I take seriously. But I will admit having better AIs in the game isn't exactly a bad thing, and you get to customize them, so there's nothing wrong with that. From this scene, it looks like you can actually level up unac units' abilities in some way. Because if you look at the bottom left, as that bar increases and then it goes up one level, the amount of money on the bottom left that he's spending on it also goes up. I guess he gives it more use to money in the game, because once you pretty much buy every part, there's nothing really left to do with it. While they don't show it, one thing I would really like to see is the extent to how much these upgrades help. Like if I upgrade my unac unit like 2 or 3 times in a certain area, does it just become godlike there? And if I was to create multiple unac units, do I have to spend money upgrading each and every last one of them? I mean, you probably would, because I doubt that the upgrades would carry over. But what I really want to know is just what these upgrades do. I mean, I can't tell from the video because they never really show anything besides from them upgrading one part. They seem to have added another thing to operation files as well. And it's titled unac, and when you go into it, it seems to show you unac units and what levels their parts are. And I don't really think that's too useful, to be honest, out of all the stuff they could have added to operation files. Right here we have unac units that vary in levels in different parts. Right here we see what looks to be an alternative method to leveling up unac units instead of paying. While I'm not entirely sure, what it does look like he did there is look like it transferred the levels that were on that unit to the one that he's on now in this screen. We have another battle here, but this time it's to show some of the functions of the unac units and some of the functions that they added to operator to command them. As you can see, all the people on that team are made of unac units. So right as the operator screen starts up, he commands one of the units to move to a certain position. I mean, if you were to show somebody this video out of context, they'd probably think it was an RTS. I mean, that's just how operator looks right now. One thing he does do while operator is move these bars, and I actually don't know what these bars correspond to. But it is something operator can do, so hey, that's one plus. It's something new. I mean, I'm hoping that those bars correspond to some of the actions that the unac units have. In Armored Core 5, Operator, in my mind, only really had one use, and that's if you scanned a unit, and then you could actually screen look on enemy units, so you could have their screen displayed on yours, and that was the main use, in my opinion, of Operator in Armored Core 5. Because everything else that Operator had in Armored Core 5 could have been done by the players. I mean, scanning and all that, but you could not screen look as a regular player. You could only do that as an operator. But now you can command unac units as an operator, so that's something new that they added. It also looks like you can direct the unac units to attack enemy units. And what he's doing right there looks very similar to the unac customization screen that you saw a few minutes ago, but he's doing that stuff on the fly. So there's a lot more RTS elements in Operator now, but only with unac units. And I guess they really wanted to buff out Operator to give it more of a purpose in Armored Core Verdict Day. I mean, it's just too bad that the purpose that they gave it pretty much requires unac units to use. I feel like there's other stuff that they could have given to Operator that does not require unac units that you could use in like a 5v5 in Conquest. But from what I see so far, the only thing that they've added to Operator is pretty much the ability to command unac units, and that's it. I mean, personally, one of the reasons I don't like Operator is because I feel like if you could have 5 people in a battle and you'd have one in the Operator slot, why not just have that 5th person on the battlefield? But there's probably RAM issues associated with that, which is why they probably couldn't do it. And for the people who played Armored Core 5 watching this video, could you please tell me if you actually enjoyed playing Operator? Because they show a lot of Operator stuff in this video for Armored Core Verdict Day, the Def 2, and I really did not enjoy it in Armored Core 5. And most of the people that I played with did not enjoy it either. The people I've talked to in free battles that I played with never enjoyed it. But yeah, if you played Armored Core 5, leave a comment on your experiences on Operator on Armored Core 5, what it looks like then compared to now, if you enjoyed playing it back then, or if you think you'll enjoy playing Operator in Armored Core Verdict Day, or even if you would like to see the feature removed. In this next part right here, we get to see what looks to be like a Conquest battle. And as someone who played Conquest and Armored Core 5 a lot, and I have a lot of videos of it, I was pretty interested to see this part. Right at the start, the mechs got dropped from helicopters again, and at first it was jets, now it's back to helicopters, so I don't know what to think on that. I mean, I guess they can get dropped from both now, but the little train bringing in the mechs looks very similar to what Armored Core 5 looked like for Conquest, the exact same, if anything. And right here we have another instance of a mech using a shield, so we get to see that again. And just like the previous videos too, his shield gets destroyed damn near instantly, which is something it looks like they should change, probably increasing the durability of the shield so that it can take more than like 10 shots. They actually don't give the name of the map that they're playing on right here, but it looks very similar to Abandoned Facility, only in the sense that it's a flat map, and because it's mainly a flat map, there's not too high of terrain, so tanks are viable just because of that. There doesn't seem to be too much cover on this map as well. I mean, in Armored Core 5, there was at least buildings in pretty much every spot on every map that you could hide behind, and this just looks like a straight open map. Oh, he's also equipped with those new TE missiles as well, but you don't get to see too much of them, sadly. So far, barring the map, the gameplay is looking pretty similar to 5 in almost every way. Some people may not like that, some people may enjoy that it's similar to 5, but that's what it's looking like so far. But then again, it is the early stages of the game, there's still a lot of room for improvement and change, or room for it to get worse as well. And right there, that guy got pegged by a flash rocket, which pretty much makes every weapon unviable because you can't lock on with anything. but the duration of the flash rocket looks similar to what it was after the nerfs in Armored Core 5, which is good because that weapon made a lot of people rage quit the game. And I didn't enjoy getting hit with them either. So once again, his shield is gone. It doesn't seem to last too long. I mean, it should have more durability from what I'm seeing in these videos. And once again, we get to see the beauties of spectator mode, which I'm so glad that it's finally implemented in this game. I mean, back when you had the glitch that let that little guy in the jetpack get to an infinite height, I mean, I still minded actually playing as that just to spectate the game, because you had to walk back every time it died. That was annoying, and I didn't like that one bit. But it's changed now. So right there, the guy gets a kill with the sniper cannon, which is still very hard to hit with because it doesn't have a lock-on, and I feel like that weapon should have gotten a lock-on. But he gets flanked like a lot of people who use ready position weapons do and ends up in a bad situation. He has to purge his ready position weapon, which happens a lot. Takes a lot of damage, and his shield doesn't seem to be helping too much because he's not facing the enemy. I mean, when he does start to face the enemy, as you see, the shield's durability drops, and a lot. And in a few seconds it's gone, and all he has left is his physical blade, and he goes for one last ditch effort attempt with that physical blade, and because physical blades have a very hard time hitting anything, with the lack of lock-on, it doesn't hit. So that part is looking very similar to 5. Physical blades still don't look that good. And now, not only do we get to see one battle, we get to see 2 in the same video, so we get to see some gameplay this time around, which I would have enjoyed, honestly, more than seeing the unac stuff, but they did show some gameplay, so I can't complain too much on that. I mean, it's better than nothing. And it's Conquest gameplay too, so that's what I want to see. And one thing I didn't comment on before is I haven't seen any turrets yet, which I'm amazed about, because usually there'd be edifices everywhere, but maybe they haven't put them in yet, or maybe they're not there. If they're not there, I'll be glad. Personally, I hope turrets in Conquest don't make a return in this game. I don't feel like they shouldn't have been there in Armored Core 5 to begin with. I mean, I just don't like the fact that edifices can single-handedly win games. Vertical missiles played a big part in that too because they had infinite ammo, and I felt that they shouldn't have been there either, especially with the amount of numbers that you could stack with them. It pretty much forced people to carry Seaways. While this wasn't really an issue in the last video, in this video, as you can see on the bottom right, the amount of recons that this mech has is pretty low. I mean, that was like, I think, 8 to start off. In Armored Core 5, what decided how many recons a mech had was based off of its core. And once again, this guy gets rushed down by flash rockets and can't do anything back, because that's just how flash rockets are. And the reason that the duration is lasting this long is because he's getting hit constantly by flash rockets. It's not just one single flash rocket effect lasting for like 20 seconds. They used to last that long too. Back in the early stages of Armored Core 5, it'd be like 20 seconds to 30 seconds where you couldn't lock onto an enemy and there was nothing you could do. I mean, that was pretty much like game over, GG right there. One of the things that I'm hoping for on the next Armored Core Verdict Day, the Death, is that we can see more gameplay of different maps. While I did enjoy seeing this gameplay, I do want to see more maps of this game. And once again, his shield gets destroyed way too fast, in my opinion. I really think it should have more durability than it has right now. So now that this guy only has one weapon left after his shield got destroyed, things aren't really going too well. He just has that weapon in missiles, and it doesn't seem to be working out. At this point right here, he just gets focus fired down by like 3 or 4 mechs, all KE weapons too, and just shreds through him. And once again, you could see the nice new death animation that I've implemented. They also show one of the features that I had talked about in the last video, which is taking screenshots, so if you're into that type of thing, it's there. And it wasn't previously there in Armored Core 5. And now we get to see a mid-weight buzzing across the map. Seems pretty much like Armored Core 5 in a way. But yeah, the team that's on the screen is losing the battle. They've already lost one teammate, and it's getting pretty bad fast. From what I've seen from the spectator mode, it doesn't seem to have any lag in it compared to the operator spectator mode, where if you screen look in operator, it pretty much has lag on it no matter what. After the mech moves to the middle of the map, it pretty much loses half its health to a volley of missiles and bullets. And it's just going to go for one little last stand effort attempt, and it doesn't work out too well. So now we get another chance to see screenshots in action. I think the gameplay that they showed was pretty good. I mean, compared to what they showed in Armored Core Verdict Day of the Death 1. Another feature that I would like to see in the next Armored Core Verdict Day of the Death is free battles. I mean, granted there wasn't much focus on them in Armored Core 5. There were something that I actually did play a lot more than Conquest when I had the chance. So now there's just one mech left, and that one mech is going to be hit by a barrage of bullets, and it's going to die pretty fast. But then again, that's what happens when you get focus fired. And that ends the gameplay for Verdict Day, the Def 2. Right as Armored Core Verdict Day, the Def 2 ends, they show a trailer for Armored Core Verdict Day, the Def 3. And I would assume, based off of this trailer, that they're going to actually show some story elements. But that's my opinion, it's not fact. But I mean, with all the cutscenes that they're showing, that looks like some resemblance of a story, in my opinion. So if you're interested in story, Armored Core Verdict Day, the Def 3 is probably what you would want to watch. Because so far, they haven't shown any story elements that I can think of. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching.